Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Public Service Commission of South Carolina. We're here for a transportation case. Before we get started, please join me in a brief moment of silence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Here present in the hearing room, we have Commissioner C. Williams, Belzer J. Williams, and joining us virtually, we have Commissioners Thomas, Powers, Irvin, and Caston. Attorney Moser, if you would please read the docket.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, commissioners and parties. We are here today for the proceeding in docket number 2021-264-T, which concerns the application of Bournias, LLC, doing business as All My Sons Moving and Storage, for a Class E household goods certificate of public convenience and necessity for operation of a motor vehicle carrier. This applicant is seeking statewide moving authority. The proceeding has been scheduled for today, October 26th, 2021 at 2 p.m., and this hearing will be conducted virtually. All parties are present and the docket is in order.
Thank you, Attorney Moser. Parties, are there any preliminary matters we need to discuss before the applicant presents its case?
Mr. Chairman, for the applicant, David Popowski of the Charleston Bar, we do have, and I'll bring it up in due course, a revised tariff that was based on a discussion we had this morning with ORS that deals with one provision involving packing materials. And we've we've already tendered it over or forwarded it over to ORS for its review. And in the course of the hearing, I'll bring up a suggested way to handle that.
Understood.
So there's nothing that has to be resolved right now.
Understood. If there's nothing else, sir, would you please call your first witness?
The applicant calls Brock Abbey.
Mr. Abney, if you would please take the witness stand and pause to be sworn in by our court reporter.
Mr. Abbey, if you would raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I believe you're muted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, one small preliminary, not small, but I would like to introduce my assistant, Lori Adams, who will be assisting me with exhibits today.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Ms. Adams.
Hi, thank you.
Mr. Abbey, tell us, where do you live?
Live in Concord, North Carolina.
Okay, and what is your title with the applicant?
I'm the operations manager for All My Sons Moving and Storage.
All right, and that's Bournias LLC, doing business as All My Sons, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what are your duties with the applicant?
I manage the day-to-day operation of the local Charlotte branch in the Charlotte metro area. All the employees, I'm directly responsible for sales management, operations, strategic planning, logistics, budgeting, P&L, hiring, firing, all that good stuff.
Okay, and how long have you been employed by the applicant?
Almost 7 years.
All right, and would you give the commission a summary of your work history prior to being employed by the applicant?
I've been in logistics for going on 22 years, since 1999. I've got about 16 years of experience as a senior level strategic leader. I started out at the Albertsons warehouse distribution back in '99. I worked for John Krishner Trucking for many years, Walmart distribution as well in their warehouses. And then I worked for a company called Bentry Logistics, which was a sister company of a large fertilizer conglomerate here in the United States.
And the applicant is a standalone entity that's part of the All My Sons Moving and Storage umbrella. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And All My Sons operates in 28 states in the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And it has currently also 4 standalone, as I mentioned, locations here in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's Greenville, Hilton Head, Charleston, and a smaller operation in South Charlotte. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And so I'm going to ask Ms. Adams if you would pull up the Exhibit 1, which is the amended application was filed on October 18th. And if you could scroll to there you go. Stop right there if you would, please. And can the commission see this? Just, Mr. Chairman, is this visible?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It is, okay, very good. Now, Mr. Abbey, you assisted me in preparing this application, and you have reviewed it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and let's go to page 2 of 2, if we would. And that at the top, the very top, and Chris General is the president of All My Sons Development, and Nick Bournias is the CFO. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and they are superior to you in the All My Sons family entity. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
If we go back to page 1 for a second, it states the location of you. You're located in North Park Boulevard in Charlotte. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And headquarters is in Carrollton, Texas, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, that's outside of Dallas, I believe, right?
A suburb. Yes, sir.
All right, and if we could go now to page 3, excuse me. And the applicant has applied for statewide authority in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. And you currently hold intrastate authority in North Carolina?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct? Okay. And you also hold interstate authority to transport household goods throughout the United
Counsel?
States from the Yes, excuse me.
No problem at all, sir. We can hear you loud and clear, but we cannot hear your witnesses' answers.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Maybe I'm talking over them. All right. All right. Do you hold interstate authority for transportation throughout the United States from the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Is that better, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ms. Adams, if you go to page 3 of 10 in the amended application. And is that a list of the balance sheet of Bournias, the applicant, setting out the relevant numbers?
Yes, sir. Yep.
With assets and that almost $4 million. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And Ms. Adams, if you go to page 5 of 10, the description of equipment. And there are 2 pages, a second page that attach if you would scroll up. And that lists the equipment that is available for use in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And roughly, what does that consist of? How many vehicles and what size are they?
We have, I believe, 21 26-foot box trucks currently and one 20-foot box truck.
Okay. All right. Let's go to page 6 of 10, which is the insurance quote. And that lays out the insurance coverage that the applicant has in place. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, and the next page, the certificate of liability insurance itself. Correct?
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, and page 7 of 10 is the fit, willing, and able form. And it lays out and it answers 5 questions that you do not, number 1, do not currently have a safety rating. Number 2, drivers have not been placed out of service. 3, there are no outstanding judgments. And 4, that you understand the the statutes and regulations of South Carolina and will comply with them. And you're aware of the insurance requirements as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. If we could go ahead and go to page 10 of 10, Ms. Adams. And that is a safety certification that, once again, your company, signed by Mr. General, is in compliance with all safety regulations of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration and has policies and procedures in place to implement that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. We can go to the next page, the certificate of authority from the South Carolina Secretary of State. That authorizes you to transact business in South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And the next page is a letter from the North Carolina Utilities Commission stating that the applicant is in good standing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, and if we can go to the next page. Actually, the next 2 pages, if we can show, this is a more detailed description of your balance sheet, is it not? And your income statement.
Yes, sir.
The income statement shows the net income December 2020 of $1,586,117. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Chairman, this is a point that I was referring to earlier. We had filed the amended application after consultation with the Office of Regulatory Staff on October 18th. And this morning, there was one other issue that we discussed, and it dealt with packing. It deals with Section 3, packing and materials. If you can go to that, Ms. Adams, and the tariff. Well, that is that. This is the revised tariff that we just sent to the Office of Regulatory Staff this morning, based on our discussions, that substituted an itemized list for one sentence in the previous one that's filed with the Commission that stated packing container materials will be charged at no more than 25% of the value of the move. To make it more specific, we have set out specific items and charges. So if I may first, before I make a motion, would you go to the bill of lading, please, Ms. Adams? Okay, and is that the bill of lading you'll be utilizing in South Carolina, Mr. Abbey?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. And if we could see the subsequent pages to that. Yeah, keep going till the end. There you go. All right. Mr. Chairman, I would move the admission of the amended application that actually has already been filed with the Commission and request substitution of the tariff, the amended tariff referred to just now with the revised language for the packing materials.
All right. And so the revised language has already been provided, correct?
Correct.
All right. So I just want to clarify. I know you said you provided it to the Office of Regulatory Staff, but does the commission have the revised language?
No, we just received it when we're tendering it now. We intend to file it as a separate item as opposed to a hearing exhibit as well.
Okay. So let's do this. I think it may be proper to admit the amended tariff, and then I can reserve a late filed exhibit for you for the, I guess, corrected tariff.
That would be very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And so I would just move with the admission of the amended application subject to the late file exhibit then.
Okay. The applicant's amended application will be marked and entered into the record as hearing exhibit number 1, and a hearing exhibit will be reserved. Hearing exhibit 2 will be reserved for the applicant's corrected tariff.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Adams, would you go to exhibit number 2, proposed tariff and bill of lading? For the commission, this is the, as I would call it, the unrevised tariff. And if you run through those pages real quickly, Ms. Adams. Could you keep going down until you get to the bill? I think the bill of lading is next. There you go. All right. Mr. Chairman, this is exhibit 2, but it's the same documents that are included in the amended application, the unrevised tariff, but the correct bill of lading. So at this point, I think perhaps it's really for purposes of keeping the exhibits numerically in order, I would just introduce the bill of lading that is the bill of lading that will be utilized and move its submission.
Okay, and so that bill of lading, that's not the one you just showed us, right?
Yes, it is.
It is the one you just showed us. Okay, and
Yeah,
all right. So the applicant's bill of lading will be marked and entered into the record as hearing exhibit 3.
I think that's hearing exhibit 2.
We reserve the late filed exhibit for the
for 3. Yes,
for the corrected tariff. No problem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, if we could go to exhibit number 3. For the commission and Mr. Abbey, this is the affidavit of the shipper support witness, Mr. Nat Wallen, of X Realty in Charleston, South Carolina. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he sets forth the need for additional mover in South Carolina, and states, the affidavit speaks for itself and discusses he's aware of the economic trends in the state and the steady growth over the last decade, and especially the last 3 years, and the need for additional movers to move the customers that they deal with. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Abbey, are you receiving? Is the applicant receiving requests for service between points and places in South Carolina that it can't currently serve because it does not have its license yet? Is that correct?
Yes, very often.
Would you explain that?
We get a lot of calls into the office for people just over the border who are wanting to go down further into South Carolina, or in other places that we would like to service that we can't service because we don't have a license down there. We turn down quite a bit of business.
Okay. How do you receive inquiries for your services? Go ahead.
Mostly web-based. Most of our leads come off of the web. some direct call-ins to the office.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chairman, that affidavit is filed as an affidavit, has been filed with the commission. And for purposes of this hearing, I would move its submission as exhibit number 4.
Shipper witness affidavit by Nate Wallen is marked and entered into the record as hearing exhibit number 4. I'm
All
sorry, I
right,
said
Ms.
Nat.
Adams.
Nat Wallen, not Nate. Nat Wallen.
Nat, right.
Sorry about that.
No problem. If we could go to what the pre-file testimony of Mr. Abbey, well, there you go. And will you go through the pages there? I think there are 3 pages total. 2 pages. Is that the pre-file testimony you have filed, that was filed for your?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if you would go up to there's an exhibit attached to that, I believe. That's your resume, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's another exhibit after that. And that sets out, if you could drop down a little bit, Ms. Adams, on that slightly so we could see the top of it. There you go. That's from the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, setting out your US DOT number and what's called your motor carrier number, your MC number, to transport household goods between points in the United States. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Chairman, we would move the admission of that Mr. Abbey's pre-filed testimony is Exhibit 5.
Well, what we'll do, we will read Mr. Abbey's testimony into the record as if it was given orally from the stand.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, Ms. Adams, if you would go to our last exhibit.
Counsel, hold on 1 second, please. I need to conference with my court reporter. And Mr. Popowski, I made a slight, I did not include something. There are exhibits attached to Mr. Abney's pre-filed direct testimony, exhibits A and B. I'm going to mark those
Yes.
and enter them into the record as a composite exhibit, and they will be hearing exhibit 5.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to show you, Mr. Abbey, a series of pictures. And if you would tell the commission what we're looking at. First picture.
That's the back of a 26-foot truck.
Okay. Next picture.
Also the back of a 26-foot truck.
And what is that? Would you stay there, please, Ms. Adams? It has the blue, garment things, blankets.
Yes.
Would you stay? Yeah.
Movers blankets. Those are moving equipment.
And it has a hand truck and looks like packing materials. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Next picture, please. Tell us what that is.
That's the cab of a 26-foot box truck.
I see that there's a mask, it looks like, there as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, the next picture, please.
It's also the that's the cab of a 26-foot box truck.
Okay. The next picture, please.
That's the side of a 26-foot box truck, the driver's side.
Okay. The next picture after that.
Also the driver's side of a box truck, 26 foot.
Okay. And the next picture after that.
That's my dispatch area in my warehouse.
Okay. The next set after that.
It's my office area in my warehouse.
After that,
That's also my office area in my warehouse.
okay. Next picture.
That's the back parking lot for my trucks.
All right.
That's another angle for the back parking lot.
Okay. Next picture. There you go.
That's my employee parking lot.
All right.
Also employee parking.
Okay.
That's the front of the building and employee parking.
Mr. Abbey, 2 pictures ago, there was a little van in front with the employee parking. What does that van utilize? It had the insignia of your company. Well, what is that van utilized for?
We call it a pack. We call it a pack van. It's made for taking packing material out to a customer if the crew needs extra packing material, or if the customer has negotiated to get packing material brought to them before their move.
Okay. All right, Ms. Adams, we can go to the next picture.
That's my front lobby.
All right, next picture.
It's the side of a 26-foot box truck.
Next picture.
Also a 26-foot box truck.
Next, this one.
That's my back lot with trucks up against our dock doors for our warehouse.
Okay. Next picture.
That's the inside of my warehouse.
Okay. Next picture.
Also another aisle of the inside of my warehouse.
Okay.
Another aisle of my warehouse.
Okay.
That's the shipping and receiving dock to my warehouse.
All right.
Another angle of the shipping and receiving dock. That's my material storage.
All right.
I think that's all.
That's it. Okay. All right. Mr. Chairman, we would move the admission of these photos and perhaps as a composite exhibit number 6.
Absolutely, sir. Could you tell me the number of the photos, sir?
There were, Ms. Adams will help me with this. There are 24 photos, right?
Yes, 24.
All right. The applicant's 24 photos of his moving equipment and premises will be marked as a composite exhibit and entered into the record as hearing exhibit number 6.
So, Mr. Abbey, we have gone through all of our exhibits, and I believe your testimony and your opinion is the applicant fit, willing, and able to provide the services seeking here from the commission today?
Yes, sir.
And is a public convenience necessity? Is there a need for that service in your view?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, that is all the questions the applicant has now, and Mr. Abbey, will you answer any questions that the Office of Regulatory Staff and the commission will have? Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Cross-examination by the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions from ORS.
Commissioners, questions for this witness?
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chair Belzer.
Good afternoon, Mr. Abbey. Thank you for your testimony today.
Thank you.
Mr. Abbey, I was looking at your tariff, and in the different sections, it indicates number of movers and van. In your tariff, when you reference van, which vehicles are you referencing?
The 26-foot box truck.
I just wanted to clarify that because I had seen the pictures with the smaller vans, and I just wanted to clarify. Your equipment list contains a number of trucks, are those all 26-foot trucks or smaller?
All of them except one. We have one smaller truck,
But
which is a 20-foot truck.
but there's nothing over the 26,000 pounds, which would require the federal
ma'am.
safety rating. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. Yes, correct.
Mr. Abbey, have you ever testified before this commission before? You look awfully familiar.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your
You're welcome.
testimony today.
Thank you.
Any more questions for this witness? All right, hearing none. Applicant, do you have any further witnesses?
No, we do not, Mr. Chairman, and we submit our case and believe that we have provided ample evidence to have the application favorably considered. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Office of Regulatory Staff, do you have a case to present?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will draw the commission's attention to the letter filed by ORS on October 25th stating that ORS did not intend to file direct testimony in this matter. However, there was a review and inspection of the applicant's records and equipment, and based on such, it is the opinion of ORS that the applicant will meet the requirements of fit, willing, and able. At this time, Mr. Chairman, I would move to have that letter marked as the next hearing exhibit and entered into the record.
The Office of Regulatory Staff's letter regarding the applicant's fitness, willingness, and ability will be marked and entered into the record as hearing exhibit 7. Is there anything else, Ms. Hammonds?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all from ORS.
All right. Is Mr. McGill available for testimony?
He is, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. McGill? Hearing no questions for Mr. McGill, Mr. McGill, you may be excused. Is there anything else from the parties?
Nothing for the
Yes,
applicant,
sir.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. If there are any questions regarding this matter, please reach out to Attorney Moser, and she will handle them accordingly. Thank you. We are adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.